Okay, so I wanted to talk about a video I saw on Lexus Exodus about Cynthia G's video. I first want to talk a little bit about the fact that I think people don't really pay attention to the fact that yes, I do appreciate a lot of divested content, and Lexus Exodus is one of my main individual content creators that I actually really do appreciate. I'm often on her videos. Most people know that. Sometimes I disagree with her. Sometimes I agree with her. It really depends on the situation, really, because, like, me, I don't have any hate for, biracial women or white women especially. She kind of leans, she is iffy on mixed people. She is. Um, it depends on what topic is, basically. Um, but, you know, personally for me, I don't specifically have anything against the video or the content that was created when it has to do with Cynthia G's video and that video she made. I think it was delusional dummies or something like that. I agreed, especially when she was showing these men. One she called white, but I thought he looked Hispanic, the one with the tattoos. And the attorney, he was white. They had this conversation on the black community and black men needing a mentor, and basically ways for black men to succeed and do better. So I do agree with that. I do agree with improvement for the black community, for black men and for black women. I get annoyed with these different gender war situations because they focus on black men and they focus on black women. The black community needs fixing. That is black men and black women. So it's not just black men and it's not just black women. It's both of you. Um, but I did agree with her video or what she was saying. Like I said, I did have a big issue with the fact of it being a white man she was talking to about this and things of that nature. It made me uncomfortable. But basically, the message given by Lexus Exodus, I had nothing against, and I actually did appreciate and agree with. And I wanted to segue into saying, this is exactly what I'm saying with mammies. Now, I don't consider Lexus Exodus a mammy, quite to say. I think she herself calls herself an ex-mammy or something of that nature, right? Race loyal. She said she was race loyal. That's what I would consider an ex-race loyal black woman or something of that nature. I wouldn't consider her a mammy. She's definitely divested. Um, and I like her channel because it kind of exposes different dysfunctional relationships and things of that nature, and dysfunctional situations in her community and among a lot of less fortunate black people. So I appreciate that. It gives me a look into a lifestyle I've never lived, and it kind of opens my eyes to that. Not as a way to ever be interested in it, but just in a sense of, being exposed to that lifestyle enough to understand what they struggle with. Some people struggle with. So I appreciate that. And I've said that before, that I like her channel because it's eye-opening, and it's helpful for people who, don't know what they go through, and you get to see that for yourself. Um, and, it gives those type of people a voice because many of the time, I guess they feel like, so I would think some people may not feel so comfortable talking about such situations because it might not be a norm to other people and they might be looked upon as, different. So, I mean, in those regards, I do appreciate her channel and I appreciate content like that does, you know, show different aspects of um, the hood or Blackistan or whatever. Um, I also think that, people often think just because you take a different perspective on something, that means you're always going to have a specific set of beliefs when you haven't even asked me like what my personal perspective was. Like on my last video, people keep thinking that, I'm into black men or interested in black men or I'm trying to attack divestment. I'm not the type to attack divestors. I just am not. I don't perceive the other person to be a divestor. To me, I would consider someone like lexus to be a divestor, and I have in the past, donated to divestment platforms. Generally, if you think of it, I've generally donated to divestors. I think there's only one guy that I've donated to that wasn't a divestor. He's conservative. But other than that, I've always donated to divestors. I've donated to Divest Zealot. I've donated to Milu. I've donated to a few others, but I don't really want to name them because they're kind of like my. That is a little bit. I don't know. I don't really want to name them too much, but you get the idea. Basically, I am very much for divestors. I'm not for people who are against divestors. Um, but yeah, it kind of like, if I would have watched Lexus Exodus video first before watching Cynthia G's video, I probably would have been of the mindset not to say anything because from that frame, it's a lot better to me because it's just like, okay, we're just basically talking about black men. But when we have a white man talking to a black woman who is not divested, one, and the white man is, he's within his own community, and even if he wasn't, it really wouldn't matter. That mindset just makes me uncomfortable. So, I mean, with that perception, it's different than just on like a divested channel. That was more my thing. It's just like from her frame of her video as who she is, it was uncomfortable. But outside of that, people bringing up on my channel, for example, that black men need improvement. Yes, I know that black men need improvement. Yes, I know that black women need improvement. The black community needs improvement. Black children need improvement. In the schools, they definitely do. And safety in their neighborhoods, yes, of course they do. So, I mean, that's just my perspective on this. It's just like, I think people, um, it's the whole thing about, the echo chamber and people always thinking that everything that you say has to go align with this community of YouTube or this sector of YouTube or that sector of YouTube. Not everything I say is going to fall in line with any sector, but I am just here to point out that, after watching that video with Lexus Exodus, I have to say that, yes, I do agree, obviously, that black men do need improvement. But like I said, I don't think we need to talk to white men about this. It really had nothing to do with it. Almost acting like, white people are the deciders or something of that nature. Like they can judge our blackness or judge blackness for black women and black men and their quality of life. I don't believe in giving them that much power. It's just not my thing. I believe in equality, and, I think that people are individuals. No one should define our blackness. No one should um, try to act like we are lesser, as people or as a community or our families are less than because we come from black families. If they're saying that, that means I come from a lesser black family. I come from a lesser family than someone else. Think of that from a dating perspective. I obviously don't want to be dating people who think I come from a lesser family. So, I mean, sometimes with some people, and I'm not saying that with Lexus Exodus channel, um, but other channels, for example, um, and you can see she's anonymous for a reason. Um, but with other people's channels who are basically, they're different. They may claim to be divested or they might be having some type of situation. They might claim to be divested, I guess you could say. Some people try to claim that, they're coming from a worse situation because they're black women and, downing black men. But they don't really pay attention to how the repercussions of implying that to white men or white women. That's not a good position to put yourself in if you are actually literally divested. I mean, it's almost like they don't know that because they're not involved in real life situations. So, I don't know. That's all I really have to say. Thanks for watching and bye.